So, a lot of us are under the impression and were raised with the ideal that once you turn 18, you've grown, you got to get out and get your own spot and figure life out, right? So, some of us were out of the house before we were 18. And that's no shade to my mother. My mother's a beautiful woman. But at 18, I had it in my mind, okay, I'm 18, it's time for me to go. So I went and, went on to school or whatever, started having children early. And I always knew that I wanted to save lives, but I didn't know what that meant, right? So, within the vein of organizing, I learned what I love to do. And it happened one time. I was out feeding the people, and someone collapsed, right? And I went into saving lives mode. And it wasn't the first time, and this is not me bigging up myself, this is me trying to tell you where I come from. So, I went on to improve that situation, got the people there to help them. And I remember I wrote Baba Mutulu about it. And he reminded me that one time I said to him that I wanted to be a firefighter, right? And I said, I did say that. And he was like, you should do that. So I reluctantly thought about it. That's working for the system. No. But what I came to later understand is that they didn't expect a person like me to even get that far through the process. And they made it hell for me. And it was through that process I learned my own strength, because I was not only verbally abused, I was physically abused. I had my ass kicked a lot. And it was then I learned, like, damn, I must really want to do this, because real life me would have been choked these folks out. I would have called somebody up here to blow these folk head off. Like, old me, had to take a back seat though, and old me is what gave me the fortitude and the strength to endure what I knew was my purpose. So once you know what your purpose is, nothing can get in the way of that, right? So my purpose is saving lives, right? So I went on to finish the fire academy, go through everything that I went through, still continue to go through to this day, and have made it to the rank that I have made it to. And with doing all that, I have continued to fulfill my life's purpose. So through this work, you can really find what your purpose is. When you say you want a community organizer, it's so grand, it's so big, it's so ambiguous. What does that really mean? And there are so many pieces of where we are disenfranchised. Shit, where you want to start at, my boy? Like, we got a long list. We can go from voter registration to food insecurity to malpractice in the medical system to, the lack of access for methadone clinics for those who don't have insurance. Where you want to start? So you have to decide what your passion is, and then figure out what your purpose is. And really that doesn't come until you mature. You know what I'm saying? Like Moon just told y'all, like, she was in her 20s and she still wasn't sure yet. You know what I'm saying? When her OG picked her, she still wasn't quite sure yet. The version of Brother Kalanji that I met back in '06 is not the version that sits in front of you today. And neither am I. You know what I'm saying? So decide what your purpose is, and identify those in the community who, kind of align with what it is that you're trying to do. And as long as you follow your purpose, you don't get lost, you don't get bored, you don't lose interest, and you never retire from this movement. There are just different ways you impact, right? So in my life as a I do a lot of things. In my life as a firefighter, I love that part of my life, because I get to be in a community in the city that I was raised in and save lives. And people look at me like, wow, you the person here to save my life? You look like me. Yeah, I look like you because I am you. I didn't see that when I was a kid, So once I discovered what my purpose was, it was easy to follow my path. So not only is this work beneficial to the community, it's beneficial to you for growth. You really get to learn what your strengths are and where your passion lies. And as long as you chase your passion, you know where you're going. There's a Abundance Child sitting over there to the left, right? When I met her, she was not a chef. She was a community organizer. We all were when we met back in the early 2000s. You know, Deron tell you, we were some wild folks back then. We just knew that we were interested in the liberation of our people. And we all have figured out what our passion is, and where we started is not where we are. It's like a branch, it's like a tree, you know what I'm saying? And while we all are doing the community work, it's all focused in different areas. Decide what your passion is, and as long as you chase your passion and your purpose, you're going in the right direction.